My name is Natalie, and today we're going to be talking about Wonder by R.J. Palacio. So, once again, I'm going to set a preface for this book. When I first got this book as a Christmas gift, I was kind of skeptical. I thought, I don't really know if I'm going to like this or if it's really going to be my kind of story. Wow. I was so wrong. This book ended up being probably my favorite book of all time. And if you see behind me, I know that people have like bookshelves that span their whole houses, but this is only a fraction of what I have. I have read so many books, it's not even funny. And if I say this is my favorite, that is coming from not a, it's saying a lot. But anyway, when I got this book and then heard that we had to read it for school, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. I was like, I have the book at home. This is great. I mean, I was going to read this anyway, I'm assuming, and now I just get to read it for school, and it's going to be so fun. I know people don't really like school books, but this year we had really good books, so I was not, turned off by that fact. Now, I went home and I read the whole book, and I was completely and utterly stunned at what I had almost missed if I had chosen not to read this book. I loved every second of it. I became obsessed with it. And normally it takes, a series or a few books to really become obsessed with a book. But I still found a way with this book that is basically, not nonfiction, but realistic fiction. Everything in this book could actually happen, unfortunately, which is kind of sad, seeing as it is a very sad and, kind of transformative story. Now, I love me a good transformative story, but what is this book about? Well, Wonder begins with our protagonist, August Pullman. He goes by Augie, and he has a facial deformity that has kind of prevented him from going to school and other things like that because he's needed so many surgeries. They call it small anomalies in the book, but it's kind of like a cleft palate on steroids. So just imagine that. And the whole book is him trying to fit in with the new school that he's going to, which is the first actual school that he's ever gone to, trying to find friends and people that will love and appreciate him and will, cherish his inner being and see past his exterior. And, there's bullies along the way. There are very caring friends that he meets and he gets along with. Again, there are some betrayals, some making up, and a bunch of other things. Now, I won't go into super specifics because this is the non-spoiler review, but I will tell you that I have read this book 5 times. Now, I know people have read books like 10 times, and they're like, I love it so much. I read it, and I read it, and I read it again. And I'm like, okay, but why did you read it so many times? Did you not remember what happened, like, the first time? Okay. But then, it clicked when I read this book, I read it 5 times because I wanted to remember every second, every line, every period, every sentence, every word. I wanted it all to be in my brain. And I hope that one day I will have this whole book memorized. Now, it's kind of thick to memorize, but I think I can do it. I want to memorize it. But I really discovered my passion for rereading books and delving back into stories. Now I still have a book calendar, which I will talk about in another episode, but basically I didn't really have enough time to be rereading books all the time. And I really wanted to cram my brain with as many stories and universes and everything like that. But once a year, I try and make room for this book because it is special to me, and it truly led me on a path to loving, worlds and world building. I was always like a writer when I was younger, running little stories, once upon a time, or, there once was little animals somewhere doing something fun, like a picnic or everything like that. But after I read this book and that year, I really started to discover that you can make characters and build worlds yourself, and you don't have to use the real world or real animals. You can make things. So I would say this is one of those books that led me on my path to want to become a writer. And that, in itself, that transformative interior of the book should really say something about it. And not only that, it talks about really important issues today, such as, bullying and seeing past the exterior. You definitely should read this book. I know a lot of people have to read it for school, and some people try and look books up on the internet that they have to read for school, and they don't really want to read them. But this book, you will want to read. It's one of those books that people walk away from and say, wow, this was a transformative journey. And so I definitely recommend it. So read Wonder by R.J. Palacio.